I almost electrocuted myself because I was in such a rush, and I now declare myself a recovering rushaholic. And I just thought, oh my gosh, something has to change. And, also with sales too, I would have peaks and valleys in my sales because I'd be really busy, and then I'd be really, I got to catch up. I got to work in the business, not on it, and all kinds of stuff. And I thought, you know what, something has to change. Something really has to change. So I started to examine productivity with a hunger like I'd never had before. And I made some really significant changes in my business. I was so lucky because just a few years after that, my husband had been diagnosed with colon cancer, and I had been pulled away from the business for almost 2 years. And after I returned, after he passed away, it had become public, and people were shocked that I had been away because my business not only had survived, but it had thrived, and the sales continued, and the strategies we had in place were still working for me. So, I believe that your business should support your life, not consume it, and that really, honestly, you shouldn't have to sacrifice your whole life, for the hunger of the next sale and things like that. So that's the sort of the backstory behind Win the Hour, Win the Day, and my passion for, I guess I would call it, for lack of a better word, time management. I really like to call it time empowerment. I went to school, I went to college, I went to university, and I would buy into this. I want to be a professional. I want you to treat me as a professional. I want to show up prepared. And so what would happen is when I worked with people a while, they would tell me, oh, you're fun to work with. You've got a good sense of humor. And we had fun. I believe business should be fun. But when I first presented myself to anyone, I would be like, all proper and straight back with the shoulders and trying to be as polished as I could. And I found over the years with the feedback that it wasn't not necessarily me, but it was coming off not chilly maybe, but it was just lacking my personality that you would get to know if you spent any time with me. So what I had to really do was get out of my own way. So when I sent you a video to say, look, I'm a fan, and then I had your name on it, and I had a little GIF, and I said, here's what I love about your show. And I was really sincere, being just Kris without presenting, where in the old days I would present to someone instead of talking to you. And for that shift from presenting to talking, that really has helped me in sales on every level, getting in the door, getting the sale, what have you. For me, it does all come down to productivity. And we talk about that in Win the Hour, Win the Day. And what it's about is, in my early years of business, because, as I said, I would say, oh, okay, I gotta clean that drawer. Or I'd go, you know what? Okay, I'm going to do a whole bunch of follow-up or networking or cold calling on this time block, like on Friday. So Friday will be a great day, and I'll do it for 4 hours. I don't have to do it an hour a day or 15 minutes a day. I'm going to do it all in this big block time. Look at that. And of course, then as luck would have it, because I was probably subconsciously praying for this, half the people weren't there. They weren't available. Why did you pick Fridays? Well, Monday's too busy. Friday they're leaving. All this foolishness. And so really what I would say to you is my second tip is schedule it and have it in little micro versions. So it's almost like, if you have that tub dripping in your bathroom, drip, 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 it's going to fill the tub. One little drip, another little drip fills the tub. One little snowflake, another snowflake shuts down a city. To me, there really is no devastating no's. So there is not right now. There's maybe you're not a good fit, or maybe you should go left instead of going right because I'm not your best one direct ahead. So I guess what I've learned, the biggest lesson I've learned in my business is that these no's were gut wrenching, and I took them personally. Like somebody told me I was short, fat, and ugly when I heard my first no. It's like, oh no, I showed up prepared. And what do you mean it's a no? And it was just so devastating to me, like I had failed in some way. And now I just look at it like, okay, next. So can we improve that strategy? Is there something I could have done better? But mostly, really, if you are putting things in place so that you are consistent with your approach and your follow-up, and every time you get an answer, you say, okay, I could have done that better. Let's tweak it, tweak, and just keep tweaking it. Then it really is just like anyone that rises in any profession at any level. It's just look at your game, improve your game, go to the next game. I thought rushing around like a lunatic lunatic going at high speeds. I thought I could juggle everything, and I was so committed to, my business. And even though there was all kinds of studies and science will tell you that, multitasking decreases your productivity by like 40%, I would see all these things and I think, well, somehow my brain is an exception to all of human race because I cared so much about my business. So I really grinded it out and pushed myself really hard, worked long hours. And when I started to change my strategy, back to the Olympic athlete, they don't get to work, do extra training day and night and day because the Olympics are next week. That's just not how it goes, right? So what I realized is, oh my gosh, when I started putting these strategies in place that are in the book, to have the calm, to have the clarity, to see every little piece and the big picture at the same time, and to move through it and have so much more resources than I had before. I was being very cruel to my physical self and going without sleep. And the ridiculous part of this whole thing was I was working against myself. I wasn't nearly as productive as I am now. The brain needs to be rested in order to be creative. And so those first few years where it was just really like the business kicking you all over your body day and night and you're exhausted, you don't know what time it is, man, that was unnecessary and it didn't get me any further ahead. It certainly worked against me, absolutely against me. It's a long haul game. And I guess, being a fan of your show and your work, I agree with everything you say. It's consistency and the first no. I mean, if we just all quit with sales and the first no, it's you'd be running a community center. It's all about the sales and
a community center.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a gray area. You either have sales and you have a business or you don't. And that's just that.